right. So, all right. So, yeah, if you want to use the either unmute yourselves or chat, use the chat box on this webinar software. Happy to take some questions, recommendations on what kind of campaigns what you're looking to get out of Postaga, and if you have used it yet or have not used it yet, that also gives me some more information. But otherwise, I'm happy to just kind of do a general demo and show you around. So, all the magic happens in our new campaign screen. That's where we're at here. And we have a bunch of different campaign types that you can run for doing outreach based on whatever your goals are. So if, for example, you want to build links to your content, we have campaigns that can do that. If you're looking to get more press coverage or other blogs to write about your brand or your app or your product, we have campaigns that help with that as well. And if you are just looking to find new customers, we have campaigns geared towards that. But no matter what, our workflow is kind of the same no matter what. So what I show you now for a certain campaign type, the workflow is going to be similar. There's just going to be some small differences, really. So you should be able to see my screen. On my screen is my Postaga dashboard screen, or my campaign screen that shows basically a Postaga new campaign area where we're looking to run an outreach campaign. If you can't see that, let me know. So so for this kind of example, the first thing I want to do is I'll do an example of an outreach campaign I want to do for a piece of content that we have. If you want to throw an idea or a question or anything like that in the chat box or the Q&A, please feel free to do so, or feel free to unmute yourselves as well. That's also an option. And then let's see. So then from there, all right, we'll just, all right, new customers. Great. Melanie has a question about finding new customers. And you did send this to me before. Can you refresh my recollection on what the website was for your business and what your ideal clients are, who you're looking to connect with? Yeah, that's right. Justmath.net. So here is the website. It's a tutoring business. And I think I might have mentioned something about this on our last demo as well. So we also have content on our YouTube channel, I believe. We have the video from last week, but I have recommendations. I have a lot of recommendations for this. So first, if the goal here is I want to get new customers, we need to rank for this website locally in Google. So if you're looking for local customers in the Gibsonia, Pennsylvania area or that greater area, customers are gonna come to you when they're looking for tutoring online in your area. And if you're not currently showing up, let's take a quick look. You do show up, but I guess this is also, this area in particular, I'm guessing is not like a major city. I guess nearest large city would be Pittsburgh, but that's going to be differently competitive because of that. So let's see. So some other things some just general recommendations that are not outreach specific recommendations, but in the realm of SEO as well. So this site, you have some content here. You have like about the business, uh, and you've got like on the sidebar and everything like that. And the framework for the site, you could tell me better, but this looks like a website builder from like either GoDaddy or One and One or one of these. I would recommend using like as far as the site build and everything like that. I think the site needs a little bit of modernization. It looks like a kind of an oldish template. I would use something like either a modern WordPress or Squarespace or Webflow website or something like that for the framework. Um, uh, in terms of like content, so content that you should have, the homepage should be all about tutoring, the different kind of services you provide. Like I see that it mentioned like the site talks about tutoring, but doesn't necessarily mention anything about math on the homepage. If you're focusing specifically on math, you do have a page that's why just math, which is more of like a bio page for you. But I would have content geared towards the type of services that you provide. So like while you may have like you have these summer programs and things like that, that's great. You have testimonials, that's awesome too. But I would have kind of pages geared towards the type of content. Might want to take some inspiration from some competitors, like other larger tutoring companies, just for some ideas. Because if our goal here is to like rank in search in your geographic area for so people can find you, the website, like for a local business like this, that's going to be everything. In terms of like outreach to do, like I didn't see much content on this site that I don't think that would be good for like link building outreach. So the kind of content that I want to do outreach for to help me get links, to help me rank better in search, is very like thorough educational content, where like it's very original content on my area of expertise that would be accessible or like interesting to hopefully a decent sized audience. So like, for example, uh, the other day I wrote, actually, it's been over a month now. A while ago, I wrote this article about guest podcasting, how to appear on a guest podcast. And I've been doing and this is a long article. It's like 3,000 or so words, got a lot of content, got a lot of text, got a lot of pictures, and it's very original. No one else has written an article like this at all. And I can, with something that is like super high quality like this, I can promote this to other blogs to get them to potentially link to this content. Hey, Brian, thanks for joining us. So when I want to do like an outreach campaign for a blog post, there are a few that come to mind. Like a resources campaign basically we use to find other blog articles that link to other like resources on a topic. So for example, if I got this article about guest podcasting, I want other blog articles to link to it. But like the articles that I want to link to this article are, let's see, articles that are related to podcasting, articles that are relating to possibly link building also, because my article ties into link building. So what I would do here, like what I would do kind of for my workflow, is I have my article that I want to promote, and the resources campaign is an easy campaign to do. You don't need any outside tools or anything like that. All you need is a piece of content that you're looking to promote, and then Postaga will analyze your content. And then from there are some merge fields here, but I'm going to skip this for now. we're going to come back to this potentially based on if I need any of these merge fields in the email template that I choose. So I want to find resources. I want to like show up in someone else's article that shares resources on a topic. And I think this is relevant to link building. I think this is relevant to maybe podcasting. Let's search for podcasting. The thing is, with resources outreach, I want to search for not something narrowly focused that where I might be reaching out to competitors of mine, but I want to be reaching out to people that are like one step removed. So, for example, something like podcasting resources. This is a good article. An article where it's like number followed by your topic and then resources. Like 9 helpful resources for podcasting, 9 of the best podcasting resources. An article like this, you'll see like this website has linked to these other articles. This is great. So I want them, great, these articles all about these different areas of podcasting. This is amazing. I would love it if they would link to my article, right? So I want to reach out to them. So this is definitely a website that I want to reach out to. I was on this podcast. 9 resources for podcasting, great. And they like share links. They share like links to other people's articles. Great. That's all good. And I'm going to just reach out to all of these. And so from here now, I'm choosing which websites I want to reach out to. And then once we're happy with all of these, once we're happy with the websites that we want to reach out to, we can analyze these links to find the right contact people, and then find their email addresses. And then from there, we're going to pitch them. So for example, I've got Postaga will automatically try and find the right person, which saves us a lot of time. If you've ever done outreach manually, having to like scour through LinkedIn or what have you can be very time consuming. And so Postaga, thankfully, is going to find these right people for us. But this one, we don't have someone for. So let's see if Postaga can find someone. So we have a link to, we have other resources related to their website. And let's see if we found anyone. Great. Here we go. A head of marketing. That's the person I want to reach out to. Oh, and actually Postaga found that person. Awesome. So Postaga has found these contacts, and now I'm going to click get contacts, and Postaga is going to try and find email addresses that work for all of these people. And then from there, all right, great. So it's found these other people, found this person, and we know this is all, these work, they're verified. This is important because we verify all of the email addresses that we find. So we know that those emails will reach those destinations instead of potentially bouncing. And if emails bounce, if a lot of emails bounce, that'll lower our deliverability rate and increase the likelihood that we end up in spam folders, which is no good. So from here, we can choose the email outreach sequence we want to use. And so so in Postaga, I have a resources sequence that's built in, that every account in Postaga has this template that I can use. I've got a resources campaign here that you should see on your screen. So I got your insert keyword, resources, insert first name, insert their article, insert my article, and my pitch for why they should link to my article. So if I scroll down, then I can see what the email preview looks like here. So like you can see everyone has their own personalized email. I came across your article on guest blogging resource. I'm going to change that merge field, and I need to add a merge field, the text for my article summary. So I'm going to go back here, this section up here on the right side. That's going to take me back to this area. And so I'm going to do podcasting resources. And then my pitch for my article is This article is all about, is an in-depth guide to guest podcasting, allowing podcasters to appear on other people's podcasts, helping them build their audience and improve their search rank. So from that, if I go back now, you'll see that I have that email now. All these emails are personalized and have all of that information. And so in just a few minutes, I've created this tailored outreach campaign to reach out to all of these people to suggest that they link to my article in their helpful resources article. And that's basically what our workflow looks like here. So I can then schedule these emails to go out. And then automatically all of the emails in the sequence, here we just have two, they will go out with the second email going out 6 days after the first email, but that second email will only go to people who have not replied to the first email. So if you reply to the email, we have a conversation going, great, they're not going to get the follow-up email. So that is, yeah, in a nutshell, how like the campaign workflow works. It's so no matter what our campaign type is, the kind of the first steps are we choose a campaign type, we then we find relevant opportunities, then we find the right contact people, we find their email addresses, and then we build an email sequence for them. For most every campaign type, I believe everyone except maybe sales, we have email templates and sequences ready to go. So if you've never sent outreach emails before, you're not stuck in having to figure out and start from scratch and figure out what to put in your emails. We help you out. So that's kind of how that works. I'm happy to now kind of go through a few different like just examples of what these other campaign types are, because there are a lot of them, and might give you some ideas on what could be relevant for your business. If you've got any questions or want to share your website or anything else, please feel free to use the Q&A or unmute yourself if you'd like. I want to make sure that anyone can jump in if they want, and so we can have a conversation, and I can kind of show you what campaigns I might recommend for your business. So otherwise, I'm just gonna kind of keep going. So other campaign types that you might want to run for for a blog article, if you have it, the first one is the mention campaign. And the mention campaign, how it works is if your article has any outbound links. So for example, I've got an article here. If I link out to other websites in my article, I can automatically reach out to all of those websites to let them know, hey, I really, really liked your blog post. I want to let you know that I linked to it in my blog post. It would be great if you could reciprocate and link to my article as well. And that's kind of the pitch for the mention campaign. And there's no like extra research we need to do. We just automatically find everyone who we link to in our article. So, but for that, you have to make sure that you have actually linked to other blog posts. If you haven't, then there's nothing we can really do there. Next up is the Roundup campaign. Now, the Roundup campaign I like, but it is very, what's the word? The Roundup campaign only works for certain business types. So the Roundup campaign is really best for if your industry has other people writing roundups about that. So for example, let me show you what a roundup looks like. So here is a link roundup article. It's coming up. or link roundup article is like a weekly or monthly newsletter, article that just shares links from other people's websites on a given topic. So Big Apple Media, every week they post an article on web design resources, and this is their link roundup, they call it. Not every industry has link roundups, so so if you don't see any, or none are a good fit when you're looking in your related industry, it might not be your fault. It just might be that it's not a good fit for your industry because no other blog is doing a link roundup on tutoring or anything like that necessarily. Education maybe, but when you're pitching these, you want to make sure like, all right, I've got something new, a brand new idea or topic that hasn't been covered yet, and this is something that you should definitely share with your audience. The guest post campaign, I like this one. This is a very popular campaign with link building professionals, people who do outreach every day. So guest post outreach is basically me looking for other blogs to ask them to let me write a blog article on their website. The reason that I want to write a blog article on someone else's website is because every time I write an article on someone else's website, they will link back to my website in the author bio. And that's a backlink. Well, that's one backlink that I get from that website. And that is a very scalable thing that you can do. Like I said, like it's a tactic that a lot of professional link builders do. It's super scalable. Like if you find tons of websites that are, and there are a lot of websites that are open to guest posting. Every time you do a guest post, you're guaranteed to get a link. The only drawback is that there is some effort involved here because you have to write a blog article then for each of those websites that you're reaching out about. But generally how it works is like you'll reach out to them with a pitch like, hey, I really liked your content on this topic. I have some ideas of guest posts. I regularly do guest posts. So are you open to people doing guest posts for you? And if they are, they'll say, yeah, sure. Here are parameters. Let me know what you have in terms of topics. The last campaign type I want to mention here is skyscraper outreach. Let me know, like show of hands or chat or comment, if you are or not whether you are or are not familiar with skyscraper. This is a more advanced link building tactic, and it doesn't need another piece of software like Ahrefs or SEMrush or Ubersuggest. And how it works is basically we find different we find other blog articles that are ranking on a given topic, and then we see who is linking to those articles, and then we reach out to those websites to ask them to link to our article. So like if someone else has written an article on, well, let's say my topic of guest podcasting, but I write a better article, I'm going to reach out to all of the people who have linked to that other article on guest podcasting and tell them, hey, you are linking to a terrible article on guest podcasting that is incredibly outdated and doesn't have good information. I've got this brand new article all about guest podcasting. I share examples of content that I include in my outreach emails that other article doesn't, and so on. So you should totally link to my article instead. And that's the kind of the pitch with Skyscraper. But for Skyscraper, you do need another third-party tool like Ahrefs. We also have campaign types that are geared towards helping you get press coverage for your business. And this is particularly relevant if you have a product or an app type business. So for example, the review campaign, how it works is we could find where competitors or other complementary products in your space have been reviewed on blogs. And then we can ask those blogs to say, hey, I saw that you did this really great write-up about MailChimp email marketing software. Well, I make Andrew's email marketing software. And since you're clearly interested in email marketing software, it would be terrific if you would write an article about Andrew's email marketing software. That's kind of like the pitch there. And from like a tools campaign, it's kind of similar, or a versus campaign. We find where your competitors or products in your industry have been featured on blog articles, and reach out to those websites to ask them to include you in their blog posts. And this I've had a lot of success with for a variety of business types, like WordPress plugins, software businesses, and even physical products. You can get reviewed by their blogs, but you will need to like send the reviewer a free sample of whatever your product is. So if you are like, I don't know, a lawnmower manufacturer, you probably can't do that necessarily so easily. But if you sell cosmetics or smaller items, something that's low cost and easy to ship, you might be able to find a bunch of good opportunities there. The sales lead campaign type that we have is particularly good for business to business. So if you are a business with like, and you're targeting customers who are in a particular industry, preferably if they have like a physical kind of presence, if they're more if they're brick and mortar, we can find those types of businesses. So for example, I can easily find law firms in any city in the world, and find all of them and then reach out to them. So if I'm selling software or products for law firms, I can reach out to them. If I do services for web design agencies, I can reach out to web design agencies. All of that, there aren't really any hurdles there. But the only thing I'd say is, like I said before, which is when we're doing sales outreach, it works best for business to business, because we can find every business in that well-defined category in that particular setting. So as I'm going through this, please stop me if you have any questions at all. The podcast campaign, I personally like this one a lot. Being on, and this is basically finding podcasts so you can be a guest on these other podcasts. Hey, Brian.
Hey, sorry about that. I was actually working with somebody, so here I am.
All right. Well, thanks for joining.
Sure, thank you.
Happy to kind of go through and tell me about your business.
Well, I own a digital marketing agency I've had before there was a term, digital marketing agency.
Sure.
I actually built my first website in '97. So
you hand coded that in HTML?
I did. I'm also not seeing, is my camera not able to come on? I'd come on if I could, but
let me see.
Let's say I can see my microphones, but I can't.
All right, try now. Let's see. All right.
I mean, it's up to you.
You can. All right.
All right.
Hey, Brian.
Here we go. Now let me enlarge this thing back again.
Awesome.
Because I don't need to see my mug. Okay, there we go. All right. So yeah, so I started building in '97, and yes, I do know how to hand code. I don't like hand coding.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I've got smarter people that work for me now. If they want to hand code, as long as they do it within a reasonable time for my clients, but they shouldn't be hand coding either.
Yeah, I really hope you're using like CMSs at this point.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah.
So that's it. I mean, everybody says niche down and stuff, but honestly, like I said, I've been doing this for over 20 years. So sure. I work with pretty large companies. We're really selective. They do need to make a strong 7-figure a year.
Gotcha.
Figure.
I mean, so that's your niche. Is your niche is enterprise?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I've gone through the levels.
Yeah.
I look at some screenshots of things that I used to build when I started, and I'm like, wow, people actually paid me for this. It's horrible, but that's what we knew back then.
Sure.
And so yeah, I do more enterprise stuff. That's a better way to put it. So yeah.
Gotcha. So and do you, I guess, so aside from doing web design, do you offer other marketing services? And
As things progressed, I would do things for myself, and clients would ask, hey, can you do that for me? And I'm like, well, if you
yeah.
pay me money, I can do anything you want. So yeah, we do SEO, we do copywriting,
Mhm.
PPC stuff, all the general full service kind of things. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Gotcha. So what has you interested in Postaga? What can I show you in particular?
I think the concept is brilliant. I
Hmm.
really do. So I don't, for my company, and I get phone calls all the time, like everybody does. Hey, your site's ranked here or not ranked here, or whatever. I love the calls because I don't care where my site necessarily ranks,
Hmm.
because the people that are calling me aren't
Yeah.
finding me that way. So it's okay.
Yeah.
But the content that we put out in our blogs, because I don't do a lot of video. Yes,
Hmm.
shame on me, I know, but
All right.
um, I the blogs that we put out actually are good content.
Hmm.
So when I saw this, I was like, you know what, this makes sense with that.
Yeah. Um, what is your site? I'll check it out.
Excuse me, my infamous pink cup.
Mm.
Focusedidea.com. FOCUSEDIDEA. Yep.
So let's check it out. All right, cool. Let me find. All right. Let's see. What's an article I want to? Cool. All right, this is a lot. That's good.
Yeah, nothing's under 1,000. I mean, none of my newer stuff's under 1,000. So
All right, cool. So I've got this article on ADA compliant website design, something very specific. Um, uh, here are some things I would do to promote it. So if there are outbound links to this, like webaim.org, good. All right. If and other cool. All right. So you have a bunch of good internal links. That's all good.
yeah,
Um,
there's externals too. I don't
yeah.
know.
So
There,
if
there, yeah,
yeah,
there are.
not a ton, but so I might skip that. But um, let's see. I would like I would probably check out the roundups for your content. So
Okay,
because I've done this before for web design specifically, so I know that there are people who regularly write web design related roundup content. So every time you've got a new post, you can reach out to roundup sites like Big Apple, or let me just search for the topic of web design. And so you've got your article here. We've got the roundup topic is you can do web design, digital marketing, what have you. But I'm going to search for web design here, and I'm probably going to see yep, weekly web design roundup, web design depot, roundup. Great. Um, some of these might not be a good fit. Like
yeah.
this one doesn't. Yeah, this is not. Oh, this is interesting. They link to other people's roundups. Hmm. Um, and so I'm just kind of skimming through
Now,
these.
how do you know what's a good site to contact, or is that just a
Yeah,
matter of clicking on the link and taking a look and judging for
yeah,
yourself?
that's basically what it is. So I've been doing this long enough that I typically just for as long as I've been doing it, I just typically just browse this meta description, and I have a good idea of what the site is. Uh,
Sure,
it's maybe a curse of having been doing it so long. And so this
I can
looks like,
relate.
yeah, this is All right, these are all website Okay, so this is like an inspiration roundup. That's not necessarily great. All right, Smashing Magazine. Let's see, Big Apple Media. Great. There's another one.
Okay.
So let's say I want to reach out to those. Then I click all the results and search for more, but want to just kind of give you the highlights of how this all
For sake
works.
of time, absolutely.
Yeah. So now it's going through all of these and trying to find the right contact person. But this isn't right. This pulled the author meta and it said solo dev. We have this little plus icon here, and I have then
Oh, okay, cool.
these LinkedIn contacts. Let's see if I like these. Director of Engineering, Chief Development, maybe Director of Marketing. That looks good.
Now, do they need to be in your contact
No.
list or
Nope.
no?
We search using our own magical things. We also have these links on the side area over here, and so I can like go to the about page or the team page.
Gotcha.
So like usually for a lot of people, great. Actually, you know what? I may want to reach out to one of these people. So Chief Digital Officer, that sounds good. There's also a team page, but this is not the kind of team page that I want. So I'm going to go for this person. And now I've got them. Next one, there's that person. That looks good. That one I can go through. That looks good, sure. And I definitely know Gene over here. So next I'll click Get Contacts, and it will find these people's email addresses. And great, I've got Matt's email address. I also have other options of people at this website.
So it's finding everybody that's got
Everyone,
access to the emails, or the emails are listed on the site somewhere.
we have our own magical tools that find people's email addresses and then validate them.
Fair enough. So they are validated though. That's
Yeah.
important.
So yes. So like these two in particular, it says like, all right, these are definitely verified. This one, when we ping their mail server, tells us it's a catch-all. It's catch-alls. Are you familiar with catch-alls? Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I've got a couple of those addresses.
Yeah. So their mail won't reject this email address outright, but we can't be 100% certain. So it's up to you if you want to email this person.
Sure.
It may bounce, but we know that these others won't. So next up, we choose an email sequence, and we have email sequences ready to go that are built in. You can always also build your own. And so here's what this template looks like. Hey,
I liked the templates. I've gone
yeah.
through the templates. They're written pretty well.
Thanks. I want to get more templates. We're working on more. That's a project for sure.
Sure.
But yeah, because we are constantly testing. We have users who are some users who are finding a lot of success, and we're saying like, all right, well, what kind of approach works better? And we're getting some inspiration and a lot of data, which is good to see. I say I'm pretty knowledgeable about outreach, but there are definitely some people who use this platform every day who get better response rates than me, and I'm not jealous. I am excited, inspired. Yeah. So like, all right, so we have these merge fields related to our content and their content and what have you. So this one, like, hey, Matt, I like your roundup. Okay. So I have a merge field for, I guess, what ends up being ADA compliant website roundup. That's not good. I need to edit that, as well as this merge field for the article summary.
Right.
So I'm going to go back up here and we're going to say web design. And for the keyword for the summary, this article breaks down why and how to get an ADA compliant website lest you risk being fined. So then automatically all these emails now are personalized further.
Got
And
it.
if I want to overwrite any individual email, like let's say, all right, I know Deborah at Lirio, and um, I want to say something like, I liked how in your last roundup you mentioned how CSS is the best. I love CSS too. I don't know.
Sure.
So now I've overwritten that email, I personalized it further, and that just affects that one person. And then um, from there we've now personalized all of these emails and we can schedule them out. And so whether you have emails for 3 contacts or 300 contacts, it's very, very scalable. Um, I had one question that I've got from our Q&A that I've gotten a lot, which is, does it reach out to the contact inside of LinkedIn? So it does not. That's something that we're thinking about in terms of like potentially having like a multi-channel outreach where we could like on day one, let's say, reach out via LinkedIn to connect with them, and then on day 2, reach out via email and kind of have that multi-channel approach there. But we don't have a direct integration with LinkedIn to be able to do that. There are other apps out there that do let you do outreach on LinkedIn, but LinkedIn doesn't. They work, but LinkedIn does not like them, and so
That's
like
why I was asking that before, is
yeah.
because yeah, LinkedIn isn't big on that.
Yeah, it's like so like there are a bunch of apps. There's like one that I use that was called Prospectin. It was a French company. I think it still exists, but there are some other LinkedIn outreach tools that LinkedIn's kind of playing whack-a-mole with, and if they catch you doing like mass outreach to like hundreds of people every day, they're going to like suspend your account or something like that. So that so we don't yet have an ability to do that here, but we get our LinkedIn data through basically searching through what's publicly available on LinkedIn. So yeah, so that's kind of the workflow of this campaign. Another thing I would do. Do you have Ahrefs software
I
at your
don't.
agency?
No, I use other tools.
SEMrush or Ubersuggest, anything like that?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool. So either way, they're all, I mean, a lot of them are similar in that, well, in like the things that they do. So let's say, for example, um, I search for ADA website compliance and I want to rank for this keyword in particular. I can see other articles that are ranking on this topic. And then all right, so someone else, their Medium article has a ton of backlinks, and I'm not going to try and go after the ADA website themselves because
Oh yeah.
that's just not going to get me anything. But this website, this ADA checklist for website guidelines, great. I can see all the people who link to this website, and then I can export all of this into a CSV. And every platform is, whether it's Ahrefs or SEMrush or Ubersuggest, they all have this capability here. So I can then reach out to these other websites and say, hey, I saw that you have this article that mentions ADA compliance. I want to let you know that I wrote this very thorough, comprehensive article on ADA compliance that I think you might want to include or link to in your article. Another common approach is saying like, hey, I saw that you linked to this article on ADA compliance, but that article is outdated and bad. You should link to my article instead and swap out the link. So those are 2 approaches, 2
Okay.
like pitch angles that you could do for the same content. Yeah, but like, so those are, and this is called the skyscraper technique, which is a very, very popular outreach strategy for people who do who regularly do link building, because it are just a lot of opportunities there. And even if you only get like a 1% or 2% response rate, or like win rate of getting links. If you're reaching out to hundreds of people because there are a lot of those backlinks, then that gives you a lot more opportunities than if you're trying to reach out to like 5 websites that have roundup articles.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Oh, great. This is great. Thank you.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, what else? If you have your own like list of websites that you want to reach out to, we have ways to import them and also merge fields to like contact names and things like that. Whether or not you have email addresses for those people, we can find them, or we will always validate them. So if you have a list of like 100 people that you want to reach out to, and you have done some prospecting, we will also verify those emails to make sure that they don't bounce.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Andy. Appreciate it.
Of course. Also, do you ever appear on podcasts or have any interest in it?
I do have interest in it. I have not yet. We have one, but it's mostly digitized, so it's not like anything major. It's more to just build brand awareness than anything else.
Sure. So you do have your own podcast as well.
Yeah.
So that's good because I found that other podcasters love appearing on other podcasters' podcasts. So having that be part of your pitch hook is going to get you better results.
Gotcha.
In general, this has been my highest success rate pitch. I think it's just nowhere near as saturated as outreach for other types of link building and articles and stuff like that. I think there's a little bit of barrier to entry here in that you are the bottleneck. So like, you're like, I need to be the one appearing on this podcast and I have to have something worth saying on a podcast, as opposed to anyone else that you're competing with for links on an article who could have huge teams of people that you've outsourced content writing to, who anyone can do research on a topic and write a blog article, but not everyone can speak eloquently with experience on subject matter for an hour.
Sure.
So one thing that I had spoken with someone recently about, they were like, their area is like, I'm a wellness coach, and I have a very specific area of focus, but other wellness podcasts don't necessarily want to have me on as a guest. I'm trying to do coaching specifically related to people in corporate environments and like HR and things like that. And I'm like, well, what podcasts are you reaching out to? And they said, I'm reaching out to wellness podcasts. And I was kind of like, well, in terms of targeting, you're reaching out to other people who are offering the same exact thing that you're offering. What you really should be doing is reaching out to podcasts in the space of your interested audience. So if you want to be offering your wellness related advice to HR professionals, find HR related podcasts or corporate related podcasts. So this way you can get in front of those people more directly. And the host whose area of expertise is like HR or corporate management or something like that is not going to be able to talk about that subject matter themselves necessarily.
Right.
So for example, so you said that you work with a lot of like enterprise companies. Are there any particular industries, or it varies, or?
No, it really does vary. I've got a couple of roofing companies that I work with. I've got a couple of industrial storage companies that I've worked with, things like that. Yeah. And a lot of it seems to be, I wouldn't say construction related, but somehow in that realm, just because one will refer the other to the other, and it all happens to be somewhere in that realm of business.
Let me see what I got here. So I could definitely easily find you a bunch of marketing related podcasts in a couple of seconds, and your pitch for those would probably be something related to the fact that you work with enterprise companies, and like for a lot of like freelancers and smaller agencies, you've got this particular audience that they want. And so your area of expertise to talk about would be something related to like, here's how I went from doing $1,000 websites to $100,000 websites and beyond.
Yeah.
That's a really good hook. I would listen to that episode. So something like this, let's see, construction. So like if this is like your target
Sure.
industry, yeah, I'm guessing if people are listening to podcasts about construction liens, I'm not even sure these are all good fit, but so how this works, similar to the other kind of searches, this finds podcasts in different areas, and then we find their contact information and we pitch them.
Same concept.
Yeah, same exact thing. And
Yeah.
so yeah. So that's the other one that I might recommend for you. But otherwise, yeah, the kind of this big suite of campaigns, I would run all of these on your content basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And if you're looking for like, it sounds like you also mentioned like you're not necessarily looking for links for the sake of links, but you want links to your content that is particularly relevant. There's also guest post outreach, and this, if you have content writers on your team that have time and ability to spare, this is something that I've been doing that I know, and I know that a lot of other link builders do. That's very, very, very scalable. Which is like I'm reaching out to other blogs to say, hey, I'd like to write a guest post on your website on a topic of your related to your blog's topic or your area of focus, and it's going to be well researched and new content, and it's going to be good for your audience, but it's also going to link back to my website, so we both have a win out of this.
Right.
Guest posting is like, people like guest posting because because it is super scalable and it's easy to get wins and that are repeatable for this. But you have to have the infrastructure to be able to write all those blog posts.
Yeah.
I had a bottleneck, which for a while, which was the fact that like I was doing a ton of outreach and getting a lot of guest posts, but now I have to write all those guest posts. So I had to find good writers to help me produce that content that's of a quality that I was happy with, that the other blog would be happy with, that I could produce fast enough.
Yeah, 100%. You got to find the good writers.
Yeah. I mean, I could talk all day about how to find good writers, but yeah.
There's your next post.
Yeah, seriously.
Cool. Well, thanks a lot for the help, Andy. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Brian.
Just keep following along with what you're doing.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
Yeah, thanks. So if anyone else has any other questions, please feel free to jump in. The other thing that I would want to mention, which is a question I get a ton, is, so let's say I've got someone who replied to my outreach email. Well, where does it go? So in your profile page, you can set where your emails, reply emails will go. So if I send an outreach email from Postaga, and someone replies and says, yeah, I'm happy to give you a link, or happy to review your product, or happy to have you on the podcast, that reply will both go to Postaga's CRM, which is built in here, as well as whatever email address that you set in your profile. So in the Postaga CRM here, I have all of the recent leads that I've gotten from outreach campaigns. So I had a guest pitch here, and they shared their guest post guidelines and things like that. And so I have this now in my CRM. I can either reply to it directly from Postaga, or I can mark this lead as, all right, this is one. I've got my guest post if I want, and that's basically that. And so I can kind of keep track of all of my leads here. But otherwise, that is the summary of Postaga and how to do campaigns. I think that'll wrap it up for us for today. But if you have any questions, if you signed up for Postaga, if you're trialing it, if you have any questions at all, you can reach us at support@postaga.com. And also on the bottom right part of the screen, we have a live chat box, so you can ask us any questions if you're stuck on anything. We're happy to help. So With that, I want to thank everyone for joining us today. We do these office hours every Friday at noon Eastern. Next week on Wednesday, we also have another session that we're going to be specifically doing on sales outreach for businesses and how to get more customers for your business. We have a guest. He's Ryan Wardell, who's built 3 businesses specifically by doing cold outreach. I spoke with him. I spoke with him a while ago about having him do this. He's got a really good story and some really great ideas for how to do prospecting and how to do outreach to bring in more customers. And I mean, the name of the game is for your business. If you can find new customers in a scalable, easily repeatable way, you're going to grow really fast and have a much more successful business. So I'm looking forward to that. That is on Wednesday at noon Eastern. And if you haven't signed up for it yet, let me know. You can sign up for it. We have links all over the place for it, and also share it in the notes for this video that's going to be saved on YouTube in our notes there. And I'll have the registration link there. And also last, you can sign up for, if you go to our Facebook group, which is called Grow Together SEO, we'll have more, we regularly share more information about outreach, best practices, tips on running outreach campaigns. It's a really great resource for everything related to doing outreach and digital marketing. So please feel free to check that out. All right. Well, everyone, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.